Oh, and so
It says we're live, but now we need to. Are you just testing all the inputs?
yeah, it's just shut off though, so I'm trying to get it back on.
Are you on these slides? Eve, where are you? I see, there you are. Is this the camera?
Yes. Yeah, so it's just for the audio to work. They won't see you super well, but that's okay. Here, this is what it looks like. Yeah, so.
We've started.
Yep.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to iHub, aka heaven on earth, in my opinion. Four kingdoms of glory. I'm just going to stop. This is going in the wrong direction. Welcome. We're going to present to you some ETA opportunities today. Let me just give you an idea how things are going. This started about 75 days ago. And Eth, would you say we're at about 800-ish opportunities in the pipeline?
Yeah.
A lot, okay? We've stopped mining to some degree because we got so overwhelmed with how many opportunities are coming in. So we'll present more to you today. I think that next month will be even more robust because there were many that were close to being presented today but just didn't quite make it. And so next month is going to be pretty big. You'll see a date on that. It's 30th of July. Okay, you'll see a date on that in a minute. One thing that I would say is if any of you have time on your hands and you want to come in and help mine opportunities, Ethan could probably use the help. So talk to Ethan about that. We had 100 RSVPs today. So I see about, I'm going to ballpark this at 50 to 60 people that I see here, and then about an equal number participating remotely online. If you have time and you're interested, talk to Eth. We just have so many and it's hard to get through. What Ethan's going to present to you today, we get deals a certain distance. And then when you show interest and you're picked to go after a deal, you will dive in and do due diligence on the deal. You're going to take it farther because we can't go deep on every single deal. All right? And we had one deal that flamed out from last month. We have four. There are four working their way through due diligence. Do you guys mind coming up and taking a moment? I'd like you to come up and just tell us where you are in the due diligence on your deal. Do us a favor. explain the process that you went through. Okay, you selected a company, what you did, all of the steps you've gone through, and where you are today. Will you guys take a minute? And just, this is the camera to those who are remote. So just so we pick up the sound, but also cast it out so these guys can hear. Introduce yourselves.
Awesome. Yeah, my name is Mason Peary. This is my brother.
Louder.
Jaron. Yeah. So yeah, my name is Mason. It's good to meet you all. I've met many of you. This is my brother. We've been really interested in ETA. We went to the first meeting, and since then we've made a ton of progress. So we're looking at a flooring company in Illinois. So, you know, this isn't for the faint of heart. You know, we'll be moving across the country, but we've made a ton of progress. We've met with the owners. We've done hours and hours of, you know, due diligence. We've looked through every possible, you know, P&L that they've given us. But that's, you know, the business we're looking through. It's been, you know, quite a long process with, you know, a lot to look through. So it definitely takes a lot of grit. You know, this won't be easy, but it's been very rewarding. We've learned a lot. And so in the beginning, we had a meeting with the owner. His name's Bill, and Ethan and Corbin. And ever since then, we've kind of taken over with doing all of the due diligence, being in contact with the owner, and all of these things is what it will look like. So let's say you scan the QR code today, you're picked, you know, obviously there's a lot of you, but Ethan is going to find the best, you know, the best fit there. So he's going to pick you, and then basically right from the beginning, it's on you. Like, this is your livelihood, right? This is your life. So you're going to do all that you can, get in contact with the owner, and just find out as much stuff as you can, because the potential here is just so big. And we're going to talk about that in a sec.
Yeah, I just really wanted to stress the importance of just, of course, doing your due diligence, and kind of just picking up and kind of running with the deal. It's very, I would say it's a big deal to be selected for one of these opportunities here. So you just need to be prepared to put in those late hours, and just run with it if you do get selected.
For sure. Yeah, the roll-up potential here is huge. I think we have Jay speaking to us. I'm not sure if he's here somewhere.
Jay cannot make it today.
Can't make it? Okay, that's okay. But there's many stories, you know, Alta Water, Cougar Tire, these stories, like, this is the way basically to financial freedom if you want it enough, right? It might take, you know, moving across the country, but this is your shot, you know? And so, you know, do all that you can to figure that out, to find that out. And then hopefully here in 5 to 7 years, you can just exit big and, you know, provide jobs, have a big impact. But it's going to take a lot of grit. It's going to take a lot.
So when you guys got into your deal, most of these deals, the term that Reed uses, he says these deals usually have hair on them. As you got into your deal, did your deal have some hair on it? What were things you had to work through? What were things that weren't pleasant, desirable? Was there any hair on your deal?
Yes, certainly. So for example, on our deal, we had kind of an explosion of labor over 5 years, kind of starting at around $8,000. And in the last year, it ended up being somewhere in the realm of $130. So we really had to kind of dig in, $130,000. So we really had to dig into the numbers, really find out kind of the reason behind that. And that really took working with the owner, multiple text and kind of phone conversations to get to that point. That's just one that really comes to mind here.
Okay. And what do the economics of your deal look like? Now that you guys have dug in, you're going to take this business over in the next, how soon will you close?
So we're hoping to close in the next 6 weeks or so.
Next six
to
weeks.
eight weeks, correct.
Okay. When you take over mid-August, let's say, what do the finances of your deal look like?
Yeah, so our target price here is around $925,000.
Just shy of $1 million purchase price. Okay. Seller financed?
Yep, seller financed.
How much are you putting down? What's the
personally,
total down payment?
This owner specifically wants a bigger down payment, like we've discussed. He
But
wants,
tell them.
Yeah. So, you know, every deal will be different. Every single one you will have to negotiate with the owners. This owner wants 30%. You know, when Ethan went to them, he said 10. So we're planning on meeting somewhere in the middle at 20%. That's what we're hoping to aim for.
So ballpark, just right around 300 grand down payment.
Yeah, a little bit less.
A little bit less.
But ourselves, we're putting up 35 to 40,000 of our personal money, not family, not others. It takes everything you've got. But we're putting that forward, and then of course with the help of iHub, we're getting it done.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Anything else we need to know?
You think?
You're going to do a site visit?
Yep,
When's
correct.
the site visit coming?
So that should be here in the next, I would say, 2, if not 3 weeks. We're hoping to meet with the owners. We're actually meeting with one of the owners today. We're having a call at 3 o'clock. We're also meeting with them next Monday to meet one of the second owners of the business. And then we're hoping to get out there about a week and a half after that next meeting here.
Okay. Do any of you have questions for these guys about the process they've gone through to purchase this business?
Sorry. You mentioned at the beginning you've heard about the deal that you got selected. What does that mean?
Yeah, so obviously there's like 120 people between online and in here. Maybe there's 10 businesses. There's going to be a lot of people competing for this one business. So basically you have to prove you are the best fit. You have to pitch yourself, right? I'm sure Ethan will talk a little bit more about that. But once you're selected, maybe meaning the team here at iHub thinks you are the most suitable for this business, then you'll set up a meeting with the owners and start taking things seriously.
And so I have is the one to make that decision.
Yeah. And it's, as we go through this, Ethan, I'm going to yield to you in just a moment to say why these guys were picked as the candidate, but it's willing to move away from home to a different part of the country. It's your level of skill set. And we know that most people in here have never run a business. That's not what we're looking for. But if I'm comparing 4 people and one has done summer sales and has 35, 40 grand in the savings that they're going to contribute to the deal, well, that's going to bump them up on the list. So it's things like that. Did you guys you had a family member? They have a family member in the flooring business and they're buying a flooring business. So their 2 mentors that they brought to the table before we had mentors meant a lot in this deal. Would you say any other?
Yeah, they were very very willing to do whatever it took. Like right after the meeting, came and talked to me, and it was they were kind of noisy, and it was hard to take anyone else seriously because they really just were bothering me so much.
Now you're going to have about 60 people bothering you after the meeting.
You shouldn't have said
So
that.
maybe yeah. Anyways, but they also, given their experience too, and they're putting their life savings into this, whatever, just looking for who's most committed, because it's going to be a ton of work. So
All right, so now let's talk about the roll-up potential of what you're buying. You're buying one location in Illinois. What do you see, and in our planning meetings, what do you see the roll-up of this looking like? Give us a time frame, give us a number of locations, but also you talk to us about adding on. You're not just going to do this business is flooring, you're going to add other construction elements in. Will you talk about your vision for a moment?
Yeah, for sure. We can both touch on this. So yeah, this business is in the middle of 2 large areas, metros. So we're about 55 minutes from St. Louis, Missouri, and then about 40 minutes from Springfield, Illinois, the capital. And so there's a large area to expand. There's a lot of people in these areas, and that's what you're going to want to look for. Not just a business that's out in the middle of the boonies. This one it's in a small town, but there's potential, right? And that's the most important thing. This first deal is just to get your foot in the door. And so we hope to buy another business within the year, in our first year of business. I think that's our goal here, kind of similar to Jay and Cougar's Tire. And then our 2-year goal is to have 5 around that number, and then our 3 to 5 is 20 plus if it's just flooring. And then we've talked about expanding. There's a lot of other roll-up opportunity in the home improvement game, with roofing. We've got Robin Hood Roofing here at iHub. and a lot of other opportunities that we would just add on to this business to have a higher exit, right?
Great. Question?
Cash on cash, you put up $200,000 to $300,000. What's your pro forma cash flow of the very first year?
Yeah, so after servicing the debt, I believe we should have, I would say, $60,000 to kind of $80,000 on hand, assuming we weren't to make any other improvements and the business were to operate kind of normally. So smaller margins there. The other idea would be we would come in, live below our means, and be able to essentially improve those margins on top of what kind of they're doing right now.
And to net out $60,000 to $80,000, what salaries you're going to take over the current owner's salaries? What would that equal to you guys?
So likely just taking a smaller cut, somewhere in the realm of maybe $40,000 to $50,000. But honestly, whatever we need to get by, I'm willing to cut back further, just for the sake of the roll up here.
Yeah, to improve your bottom line. But what I want these guys to know is what kind of cash is sitting in the business. It makes more than that. What are the two owners taking right now?
Yeah, right now they're taking around $75,000 salaries, and there's two of them, so 150 grand there. And then they're also paying themselves out with retained earnings. So they have a pretty nice salary there, especially for this part of the country. But that's a part of it. Sacrifice will be scaling that back quite a bit, and putting it all into the more free cash flow you have, the quicker you can roll up, right? Okay. So,
what's your EBITDA and how'd you get to the selling price?
Oh yeah, so we actually chose a different method than just EBITDA. We actually chose to look at the SDE, which is seller discretionary earnings. For this business, it seemed to be a better metric to kind of base it all off of. I know we have run the EBITDA kind of evaluation as well. Don't quite have that off the top of my head, but I know that we're looking at a multiple of SDE. Oh, yeah. So as of right now, it's right around one times SDE.
Yeah. Okay, they're buying a lot of inventory. There's about $600,000 in inventory, and they're also buying property. So they are buying the building and the land that this business sits on, included in the $980,000.
Yeah.
So they'll be property owners in this deal.
Yeah, this business has a building of 11,500 square feet. It's massive.
And a huge parcel of ground.
Yep.
2 acres.
2 acres.
So 60 to 70% of this deal is assets, is hard assets. And you have to equate risk in there as well. And so that's how we got to around 1.
But it'd be about 1.5 times EBITDA. Do you have a question? Okay. No.
Yeah. So the remaining bit you have to come up with, because you needed $250,000 cash and you're going to get that. So the remaining bit, are you getting another loan from a bank, or are you raising money from investors to fill that gap?
That's where iHub comes in. Obviously that's up to some negotiating with, iHub and Corbin, but they've already said they're willing to help out with the down payment. And so that's, up to you and your deal, and what's kind of how the finances look, because it is an investment for iHub and for you and the owner. So it has to work, in every way, but we've gotten assurance that iHub will help us out.
And at the end of the day, how much of this business do the two of you expect to own?
It's a good question.
That is a conversation we were hoping to have with you this week.
So I'll answer the question for them.
Yeah, that'd be good.
On 75 to 80% of this business they'll own. Yeah, we're not here to take your businesses. We're here to get you in business. We're going to play an economic role in this. You see the size of the team creating these ideas, but no, we're getting you into business. This isn't, we're going to own 70%, you're going to own 30. It's the opposite. We want you in at 85%. Theirs might take a little more capital, which could push their deal to 75, 80. But you're going to be owning 85% of these deals. Okay? Last question.
What's the relationship going to be with the owners after the deal? How long are you going to keep them on?
Good question.
What are you going to do with them? Are you going to pay them a salary? Are you going to consider
you're seller financing their salary? How are you gonna, do you know how you're going to structure that yet? Or are you still going to work that out?
So I think we're still working that out as of right now. The purpose of the meeting today is to discuss more of the terms, such as those. I imagine they'll stay on for between 6 months and a year. From what we've heard, a lot of their contacts are just kind of in their head, right, and or in their own phone book. And so we really need some time to kind of transition with a lot of those relationships. I imagine that'll take a few months, and then just having them on standby, just as support, is really ideal here. That's kind of the idea behind, again, just keeping them on for a year. When it comes to their compensation, that's still an open conversation here. We haven't quite kind of fleshed that out, but I'd be happy to chat with you about that as we get things kind of further along here.
Follow-up question with that. So again, how are the employees going to feel about the owners meeting?
So we are just going off of what the owners have told us. There's two other employees that work there, and it seems as if they both intend to stay on board. But I mean, we will really just have to evaluate the team when we get there, make sure that they're going to make the cut for our operation. So that's a valid concern, but it's one of those that we need to kind of navigate as we're there in person and kind of going through that situation.
Also, they're not going to step in and say like, "Hey, we're the new owners." Like, it's going to be subtle. They're going to go there and start working. It'll be a very well thought out transition.
Certainly.
And they use a lot of subcontractors, so that's where those are people doing the actual labor.
So in all of your deals, we don't expect to be paying owners any compensation. They're going to be in an advisory role. These are the previous owners, okay? So they're in an advisory role. They're being paid a monthly check as part of their seller financing. In this circumstance, it's a significant check, right? It'll be $700,000 financed over 10 years at 5%. That's a decent sized check. It's nearly equal to what they're making. They have a vested interest. It's a beautiful strategy because they're ensuring that they keep getting their checks by being great advisors to the new owners, by making a smooth transition. This whole thing's been well thought out, and I don't take credit for it. It's Reed Tileston and others who put this program together. And it's not foolproof, but it's really strong. And that forces these guys to stay it forces them to stay good advisors and help these guys make for a smooth transition. Some other examples with Cougar Tire, he lost his key mechanic. All of his other employees have stayed on, and at the other 3 shops he's bought, they've stayed on. But he lost his key mechanic right over here within a month of buying the business. He had him replaced a month later and went on. Not a big deal. It's not been a shakeup. He lost an attitude and he got people who are then on board. So that could happen, but we're trying to protect against that. We won't announce a big sell and so forth because that will also be damaging to the customer base. Okay. So we're going to coach you through all these things. Okay. Great questions, gentlemen. Thank you.
Right,
nice job. Appreciate it. In our July 30th presentation, we will have Jay from Cougar Tire here presenting. He was supposed to be here today. What I want you to hear is what Jay has been through in the last now 14 months since he bought Cougar Tire and has bought other locations, but can't make it. So Jay will be here next month. You'll have him walk through his story, and then I will invite Alta to come for the August meeting. And I will have one of you who's working your way to a close come and present each month, because I need everybody to hear present to hear what's taking place, what's going to be expected of you as you take these over. I don't want you to have a mythical idea of what this is going to turn into. Okay. I do. I mean, Jay's on track for $100 million in 5 years. Alta Water just struck a deal with Todd Peterson. I was at Todd's house a week ago Friday. Todd had just finished a meeting with Alta Water. He thinks they're easily $1 billion company. If I ever hear any of you tell me you've got a unicorn, just prepare to be slapped. But if Todd says it's a unicorn, he's empowered to use the word unicorn. He thinks Alta Water is well in excess of $1 billion company and has provided their funding in perpetuity. So they have a blank check. So that's what we're here talking about. We're not looking for a job for you. We're looking for roll-up potential. We want to buy many. These guys didn't just buy a flooring store so that they can make 70 grand each a month. No, this is the first of many. Build, rename, put them all in one big package and sell them off, either to a strategic or a PE. That's the vision here. You see a lot of people present here today. Our numbers have swelled. We have enough businesses for every single person here. We have too many businesses, okay? And so we can keep, we'll need more help, but we can keep stoking this pipeline and find you all a business. So as you heard about these guys being picked for an opportunity, don't worry. There's plenty of businesses, so much opportunity. We could open the spigot back up and get even more flowing in, which we'll do. So we're 75 days into this. We're still learning, okay? We're figuring out the team and so forth. The 60-ish people online, you guys keep knocking doors, keep crushing it. When you get back here late August, we'll be ready for you. We'll have opportunities for you, and we'll keep going. Don't worry about, do I need to stop knocking doors? What you see today, there's 600 to 800 more of these, okay? And we were sitting with a bank for terms to sellers. Most of them, it's a hard no. They are not interested in seller financing, and the call ends. That's fine. But we can go back to hundreds of our contacts, some of them with outstanding businesses with great numbers, and say, what if we change the terms to 50 down? Using SBA loans and change this equation dynamically. It would be a big change. And that's because the bank is working with us to provide SBA loans for some of these deals where we need more money down. Again, we'll put the down payment down, but we can get to even more deals and perhaps richer deals with that. We will never buy a business 100%. Why?
The owners have no incentive to help businesses.
We need the owners to stick around and to support you, to train you, to transition their customers over, to transition their employees, their team members, is the better term you should always use, to transition their team members over. Mandatory. We will never do a 100% deal, except for that we're doing one right now. Where are you? Anyway, we're doing one right now because we're buying it at a 1x EBITDA. Jacob? Oh, hi. You're so close. I couldn't see you.
I was wondering if it was this one.
What is your business? Your EBITDA is about 650 grand a year.
Yeah, they're making around 650, and we were doing an evaluation off of SDE, but the guy wants out pretty bad, and he's really rushing the timeline because he's going through a divorce.
So look, we got to look underneath the mattress. We got to check in the shed. We got to dig holes in the backyard and see if there are some dead bodies under the earth. But this one has so much money in it that we're willing to consider a 100% deal because it's got 650 grand of EBITDA. And so the bank is working with us to finance this one. And yeah, we're working in that direction. So look, there is no set program for these. It's going to vary in every single deal, like you just heard these guys say. That's what we're working on. All right. We ready to see some more? We're going to show you some more, and we're going to have a ton more coming your way. All of you here today, this is a by invitation only event and presentation because we're not looking for just anybody to walk in here and to overwhelm us with interest. You've been invited because you've shown us something in some way, and that's why you got an invite. You are welcome to extend your invite to high quality candidates. You know what a high quality candidate is. I don't want to say anything rude now, so I'm just going to stop. Eth, show us some more deals.
Yeah.
Give it up for Eth.
Sweet. Well, yeah, we're super excited to show you some of the things we found. It's been super fun going through these. There's so much potential with all of these. Like we were saying, I can't stress enough just how many opportunities there are. And we had a meeting with Reed Tilson recently. He was walking us through just kind of his process. And these are all like he buys something for 1x and then exit shortly after for 10. And that's the vision here. There's so much potential with all of these. So, and like Corbin said, we're like, if I had another 2 days, we could have so much more. But this is what we have as of right now. A lot of other solid ones that we're just trying to work through the numbers a little bit more. So first off is this auto shop in Texas. And last time we had the QR codes for each slide. This time there'll just be one at the very end. You can go through and scan. But this one's looks really solid. The seller, we had great conversation with him, and he's very credible. He was one of our later ones that we just got his financials, and we want to understand what happened in 25. But there was 1 year with that flooring business that wasn't amazing. You guys got further documents and things from him, and it was quickly resolved. So, and the industry is perfect for roll up. That's the main thing we're looking for, and that's also what disqualifies most of the businesses we look at. As we do as deep of a dive as we can to see does this have the potential to scale and exit in the next 5 years for $100 million. We're looking for things that have that scalability. So
can I step in here?
Please.
Okay, so if you guys look at this, another auto shop. We're buying one in North Carolina right now. Jay has bought 4 in Utah County. Why don't we give this to Jacob or Jay? Proximity, geo. Okay, so look, we want to go buy this one, and then we want to buy 50 more around it. Then we rename them Jay's Auto and Collision Repair. We brand them all one, and we sell them off to a VC or to a strategic. It doesn't make sense to own one in North Carolina and own one in Texas unless you can somehow tie all of that together, and that's a lot to tie together. So we're buying things in geographic locations. If another one comes across our radar screen in North Carolina, it's going right to Jacob. We don't bring it out to the broader group. We bring that auto shop to Jacob so that he can add it to his pool. Very important distinction, okay? We're trying to get you something that is sellable, and that's how it's done.
Yeah. Cool. And I also can't stress enough too, just again, the potential on these, all of these owners, they're putting like 3-4 hours a day max in these businesses. They're so tired. It'll take like 20 minutes to get them on a video call because they can't figure it out. Like these guys, no offense to these boomers, but there's a lot of potential here. They're barely scraping by. So all these numbers, just consider that it is very little effort at this point that they're putting into. You'll see just a slight downward trend in the financials for as time goes on. And that's because they're getting old and they really want to just exit right now. So yes, there's that auto shop. This is a lighting business in Montana. Last year they jumped up an enormous amount in net income. Don't know exactly why. So again, that's for you guys to do a deeper dive into. This one's also, there was a landscaping business that they sold in the process. So there's some intertwined with those numbers. We don't have the bandwidth to investigate that, but that's something you would do. And then this is all seasonal. But as we've brainstormed the roll up on this, there's major opportunity to just make a permanent lighting business. So, and if you know this industry, I have a friend who works in this here locally, and it's very, very lucrative. So a lot of potential here. And then major retention on their customers. So it'd be a pretty good transition. He also has an apartment in their building. Anyways, so we purposely are keeping the cities off for proprietary reasons. Just trying to keep things. But if you want it, okay, I don't know where that is, but I'm sure it's great. This is a landscaping one here in Utah. We would have presented this maybe last month, but this guy's name is the same as another guy, and we were super confused. But and if you talk to Spencer Rogers, we were talking about just the potential on landscape roll-ups. He knows some people that have had tremendous success with landscaping. And then a lot of people don't want to leave Utah. There's an option here. This guy, he does it all by himself. Again, this is an older guy wanting to retire. He does everything by himself, but this isn't like a hard skill to learn. It's just basic landscaping and outdoor. The amount of places you could take this with snow removal or whatnot, there's a huge umbrella for this. Anyways, so that's the Utah landscaping business. This is another landscaping in Southern California, definitely smaller revenues, but very solid. Guy wants to sell really bad. Same thing, it's owner dependent, but all of these guys, they intentionally haven't hired anyone because they can't, they're comfortable with where they're at. But every business owner we talk to just stresses how there's so much opportunity with all of these in scaling. They don't do like any advertising. So let's see. This flooring one in Idaho, definitely smaller numbers here. The owner got in like 2 really bad car accidents in the last couple of years. I think one of them was in 23, and he's just had some health complications, so he's looking to get out as soon as possible.
So the reason that we like this one is we think it's right close to free. There's just, this is something that you could pick up. You can see it once growing, and due to the accidents, we think there might be a really good opportunity here.
Yeah. And you can acquire all of his clientele, 29 years that he's been operating. And we talked about, he was really big at one point, but as his health, deteriorated, so did the business. But major opportunity here. I think this one's super solid, and it's closer to Utah if you're trying to stay local. Used RV dealership. Higher numbers on this one. This guy's super cool. He really wants to sell, especially with iHub. Some of these guys, when we walk through like the process, they really like the idea of a young entrepreneur taking over their business. And this guy's in that category. There may need to be some SBA on this loan, so on this deal. But yeah, really solid and very motivated seller. Another auto shop in New Jersey. We need to verify this still, but he's very credible in all of our conversations. So once we verify this, I think it'll be the case. 250 to 275 SDE. They're trying, anyways.
Will you explain SDE? When you say 250 to 275K SDE, that makes a big difference on this deal.
Yeah.
Can you explain that? Yeah.
So all of these owners, and Tyler, you can pitch in here if you want. They're trying to write off as much as they can as business expenses. So they want to lower their net income. So that number is after adding back what he's written off.
Yeah, a lot of these small business owners, they don't really have a good game plan for like an exit, and so.
Will you stand up in front of the camera so that goes online?
Yeah, a lot of these small business owners, they don't really have a great plan for an exit, and so their financial statements are really messy, and so that's why a lot of these don't look super well. A lot of things are entangled in the financials, but that's why deeper due diligence is really important to find out the difference between SDE or net income or whatever it is. So,
but a lot of them are really smart about it too, where they're purposefully trying to make everything a business expense so they can lower their taxes. Yeah. And so that's why looking at this initially, it's like, oh, only 33 grand. But in reality, he tried to make that number as low as he could for tax purposes. So I think this one's really solid as well. Corbin, anything you'd add to that?
No, I just think if you look at the previous years, there was some good revenue there. And it's not dishonest what this owner is doing, trying to reduce everything. It's a strict. Some of it could be borderline dishonest, but it's their tax strategies he's trying to implement, and I'm not saying he did everything right, but the numbers are much better than they look here. At least we think, but somebody's got to dive deeper to figure that out.
Yeah, and we can tell when we're talking to someone if they like this guy definitely is much more like he's younger on the retirement age, but he seems like much more strategic, knowing what he's doing. Not all of them. This one I don't imagine will be messy behind the scenes. I think he's just been strategic about it. This pest control in Maryland, I think this one's very exciting. Again, that 32, this is like after he paid himself. We don't know exactly what that number was. He hasn't wanted us to go over his taxes until we find an operator, but he's really excited about iHub. And then I'm sure many of you have, a pest control background, doing door to door. So I think his retention is much higher than the door to door guys. Got a lot of recurring revenue, but again, they're super comfortable with where they're at, not trying to grow, no advertising. He's just been hanging out with it. So
it takes a salary in excess of $100,000.
Yeah, so pretty solid one. Locksmith in Florida. This guy wants to sell more than any of the ones that we've presented. He's texting me every day, and I'm like, we're trying. His numbers are really solid. His margins are insane. The biggest risk with this one is there's a lot of key man risk here. If I were taking this deal, I would go and hire someone right away during the transition phase, or multiple people that he can train, because you don't want to be doing the hands-on labor. But this industry is extremely, great roll-up, because there's lots of avenues you can take. He's a locksmith. He does doors and windows. I think it's super solid.
That you hit on most of what I was going to add here, Ethan, is look at this bottom line. This is a highly profitable business and a killer roll-up opportunity. We could buy a lot of locksmith shops. And if you look at this one's juicy. All has to be verified, but this is an opportunity in Florida, okay? But he's doing the locksmith work. We're not looking for you to become locksmiths. Yeah, you need to dive in. You need to know what's going on, because when somebody has an emergency, they need to get in their home and your person's not available, you need to go get them in their home. So you need to become proficient, but we intend for you to hire somebody, pay them what this guy is doing. That's the key to this opportunity, where he's doing it all himself. But check out those numbers. This is one we really like. There's an opportunity there.
Yeah, and he has a lot of repeat clients as well. Like, I don't think people, like, he is the business right now, but he I think with a careful transition, I think it's very solid, and he's very, very excited about it. So and I hope we can find, I'm very protective of this one, so I hope we can find a good person for it. Landscaping in Missouri, you'll see a lot of these landscaping ones. Super solid. The biggest, with all these, you need to have a careful transition. Go ahead.
I was gonna add something here.
No, go ahead.
About the landscaping can be super solid. There's so many of them if there's recurring revenue, because if there's recurring revenue, it's a lot easier to scale operations, and then the roll-up becomes super good. So I would argue, if you're just looking at like the net income on some of these deals, I would say that you might be looking at it wrong. I would say we make the deals where the industry, like, we're looking for the deals where the industry can roll up. And landscaping, if there's recurring revenue, you can keep building and building with the same operation with 10 locations and have a huge exit to private equity. Same as like Jay with Cougar Tire, any of those guys.
Sweet. I think we're wrapping up. We had an electrical contractor in California last time. This is another one. Maybe we roll those two up together. They're like complete opposites of California. So just thought I'd present it anyways. This guy, again, you'll see his net income is deteriorating. He's old and he wants to leave. And he talks so much about there's an overwhelming amount of work to do. And he was telling me yesterday, he's like, I'll work like 4 hours. I just have to stop. So I don't think this doesn't necessarily reflect the business as much as it's just these owners are putting in the absolute minimum that they can. And then, of course, this is, again, after paying himself. And Corbin's made a big point to electricians that it's has a lot of potential. Anything you'd want to add on that?
We've seen huge deals recently with HVAC companies being sold to private equity. And so anything in this construction services industry is big. The reason that we put this up for you today, despite pretty low numbers, is because the owner stressed many times how much business he turns away. This one is big. This is basically a free deal that has so much upside because he is walking away from business because he wants out. He's done. He's not taking on new clients and he turns down jobs every day. That's the only reason why this one with such small numbers is on there. We think there's gigantic upside here.
Yeah, no, this is perfect. Finding a deal that has enough hair on it where we can explain to them why it's not worth, what maybe it used to be worth. So you can get a pretty good deal on it. But again, he looked very tired on the call trying to keep up with. Anyways.
It's tough being old, you guys. You'll understand someday.
Hey, Spencer, do you want to talk about this one a little bit? The fire starter? Yeah. Do you want to?
Yeah. So this guy makes. Spencer, we have 60 people online.
Okay. So this guy's in Mukilteo, Washington, which is just north of Seattle. And he has a landscaping business as well. He brings in all of this leftover cedar clippings and stuff, and he molds them into these pucks. They look like hockey pucks. So they have wax and cedar clippings. If you guys go into like a national park cabin or whatever, you'll see they're called super cedar. You'll see these little pucks, and they're just fire starters is all they are. So you stick them in the fireplace, you can take them hiking, and you can let them soak in the pool for a day and pull them out and they'll light right up. He's ready to get out of the business. He called me probably 15 years ago and said, "Hey man, you want to buy my business?" And so we went and took a look at it. I really wanted to buy it at the time, but he wasn't quite ready to sell. And then he called back a couple of months ago and said, "Hey, I'm ready to sell. You interested anymore?" And so we had Ethan take a look. Great little business. His competitors are those, what are those? They're like the logs that you see in the grocery store and stuff. What are they called? I can't remember. Like Duraflame or something like that. Yeah, logs. But anyway, his brand is Super Cedar, and you'll see him all over the place. Really cool little company.
Yeah, this isn't like a specific roll-up plan, but talking to Spencer, there's opportunity here, and yeah.
What's it not considered a roll-up plan because where he gets the cedar from?
Well, it's the roll-up is you're looking to buy, similar industries. I don't know of any other. I mean, there's not many fire starter businesses you can go buy and roll up. Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, I think Jay in the last year grew to 4 locations. And that sounds amazing, and it is, but it's because he went and bought something that was already doing well. And anyways, but you're not. This is kind of it's like running one of the businesses out of here. But and this is the last one. You'll see the numbers are lower on this one. Which I talked to this guy, and just off of our conversation, I thought the roll up was incredible. Digging on that, and he is very well put together. As I understand, he's writing off everything. So don't be alarmed by these numbers. This guy's solid, and there's a strong roll up here. I haven't had the time to go through and look at everything. But I think this one's super solid. I also had Merrick and Brock, some finance guys, look at it. Anyways, his tax returns help explain some things. So. And I think those are the ones we have right now. If you scan this QR code and select whatever ones you're interested in. Again, I think it's just an incredible opportunity here. All of these, we love a little bit of hair, and it's I just think there's major upside. And like Corbin said, we do have a lot of opportunities, but we're trying to be careful with what we present. Like I'd say there's another 14 of these that, might have made the cut, but we're trying to we want anyone who takes a deal like Brock over here. He was going to take a flooring one in the last presentation, but as we dive further, it wasn't clear that it was gonna work. So, so that being said, we will have more opportunities. We'll do this every month and have more and keep iterating and getting better. But if you see something that's good and you like these guys are all ready to sell right now. So try, you got to be willing to make the jump at some point. If you're serious about getting into ETA, find this is we'll try to get as good as we can with finding them, but every deal is going to have a little bit of hair. But I think these are really solid, so I'm really excited.
Hair is good. Just ask a bald guy. All right. Brock, will you take 60 seconds? You dove in. Come on up. You dove in. You were researching a deal, and we walked away from it. Talk about, just 1 minute, talk about the research that you did and the conclusion that you came to, the process you went through.
So for everybody that was here last month, it was the Nevada flooring and carpet business. This one seemed very great on paper. His financials were great. He was doing $400,000 in revenues and then $100,000 in net ordinary income, which 25% it's pretty good. What we found out though, as we were doing it, was he was investing $66,000 of his own money into the business every single year to keep it afloat. It was very key person heavy. And so I would have to go in and actually install it. It was in a location where there wasn't really enough area for growth. It was in a very small city called Fallon, Nevada. And so basically what we found was too much hair. It was, I have experience in construction, but I'm never going to be as good as somebody who's been doing it for the past 25 years. And that's what he was expecting me to do walking into the business. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for things that you guys are business owners, not business or not laborers. Yeah.
Hey, just last thing I want to hear from you, Brock, is you went through that process and we failed.
Yes.
We crashed and burned.
Yes.
How much did you learn going through that? How much time did you put it? 2 weeks?
I put, 2 weeks. It was probably good 20 to 40 hours.
Okay. Just talk to us about the learnings.
I got excited when I got the opportunity and I bought a truck. And obviously I'm not going anymore. So now I have a truck payment.
You did not tell him to buy a truck.
No, nobody told me to buy it. This was my own excitement. I was excited. So that was a very good learning experience. But other than that, going through the financials and just being able to talk with the business owner, understanding how he's running the business, it helped me out a ton for whenever the next one comes up that I feel like is good for me.
Amen. Such good learning experience.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A question.
Yeah.
So
For him or me.
what is expected of us as a down payment and due diligence? I want to know more about the due diligence process from like A to B. Like we ask for profit and loss statements, we comb through it. Like what is the due diligence process that we need to know to do our part?
So Ethan, before he gets any of these up here, he has P&Ls, balance statements, usually tax returns, unless the business.
Everything we can get.
Yeah.
But minimum the profit and loss.
Now, what I recommend for every single business is at least the last 12 months of bank statements, because that's going to tell you what's actually happening in the business. Like I could fudge a whole P&L statement, and it could just not be true.
Is that how you found out he was doing his own money? Was the transfer into the bank?
Yeah. He said he was only investing $10,000 into the business every year. I pulled bank statements. It was $66,000 a year. Yeah. So that I would recommend for everybody, bank statements as much as possible, because you will find the hair in the bank statements. They can't hide from you. There.
And obviously, did you use AI, Excel sheet? How did you sort and process and crunch the numbers?
So I used Claude Pro, just the $20 one. It was perfect for me. Use everything, and then we would chat with each other. They were a great help to me. And then once I presented it to Corbin and Spencer, we were able to chat about it as well.
So you put the bank statements into Claude Pro, and what kind of prompt would you give it?
I told it.
I tell it like you are 0.01% expert financial analyst, and find any red flags on this. I'll do like the highest cost. Just to make sure it really.
And I usually create a repetition. So I say do it over and over and over and over again until you get the same answer 3 times. Because Claude can make mistakes.
Great advice. And then once we have done our due diligence, we know the valuation of the practice. How did you meet and present it?
I just requested a meeting from Ethan. I had the specific number in mind. So we evaluated the business at $100,000. It was a $10,000 down payment, which wouldn't even pay the loan that he had with the bank. which was at 16,000. So obviously, again, it was not the right deal. I had 10,000, so I was going to pay 100% of that. But in the case of, let's say you're paying 400,000 and you don't have 400,000 or 200,000, however much it is, yeah, you guys will work that out with.
Another question: what percentage of overhead costs versus revenue are you looking for, like, for your margins? Because if they have an overhead cost of 30,000 a month, which isn't a bad thing, what kind of revenue do we need to make sure it's still a good deal?
I think you should research the industry before making that decision, because every industry is going to have a different level of overhead.
Good questions. And this is where your learning is going to go from this to this. When you get involved, you're going to become really, 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 really good at landscaping all of a sudden when you've never thought about it before. So, no doubt.
I'd also add real quick, just iterating on the process. So basically, anyone who's interested in whatever business, I'll see all of those people and we'll do like an interview process trying to see who would be the best fit for that. And then you'll sign an NCNDA. We'll give you some financials and basically say, like, go figure it out. Go have fun. So Brock worked on that for 2 weeks. And then he came and he presented to Corbin and Spencer a little pitch deck explaining what he found. And that's ultimately where we decided to kill it. And then same thing with Mason. They came in and pitched. And that's when we decided, like, we were ready to go forward. So, yeah.
In fairness, that deal could still fall apart. It's time for a site visit, and it's time to dig deeper, and even deeper than we already have. But that's the process. You're going to learn so much going through this process. It's invaluable experience. So again, we have space. If you have time, come up and talk to Ethan. We need help diving into these deals. And if you're here working on the team, it says a lot. Okay, it's going to move you up on the list if you have time and you can put in time to help out. It's going to move you up and give you a better chance of getting a deal. Okay, knockers, don't feel badly. Thanks, Brock. Appreciate that. Knockers, don't feel bad. Keep making money for your down payment. We'll have deals for you on September 1st. This is not going to end. It's just going to get better. We have so many changes taking place with our team because this is proving to be everything we thought it would be. And we're ramping things up dramatically. It's just going to get better. So we're ready for you. We need you. If one of these didn't appeal or it's not the right timing for you, just keep coming every month because we're just going to keep adding to this and bringing you deals. We want 20 of these by the end of the year. Okay, we have 5 in the works. 20 by the end of the year. So let's go. Well, we don't have a cap. We do. We have a personnel cap. And that's why we're saying come in and help out, because that's going to allow you as you're going through to say, I want this one. And there are deals in the works right now that were never presented to you. Fair? Yeah. We have deals in the works that people who are working took that weren't presented. Okay, I have one more deal. This is not ETA. I still have the energy packets. If anybody's interested in talking to me about taking over a business we funded, the energy packets are like Zyn packets, tobacco packets that you stick in your jaw and it's hitting you with nicotine. This one's energy. You stick it in your jaw and it's hitting you with energy for 4 hours. iHub funded that business. The founders have walked away. We would love to work with somebody to take over that business. It's a CPG business. We know the sourcing. We've got all the costs of goods. It's all been done. They have inventory. They did some advertising. That business is an opportunity if somebody wants to go down this road versus ETA. All right, that's something you can come talk to me about. Sir Spencer.
Hey, can I share one other opportunity? So full disclosure, this is my sister's company. She runs a yoga studio in Saratoga Springs called Yoga Vega. It's a great roll-up model. She talked to Reed Tileston at BYU about it. He loves it. I talked to Reed yesterday, and he was kind of whining about the fact that nobody is jumping on this opportunity. So Yoga Vega, you can look it up online. She and her husband, my brother-in-law, are ready to retire. And so they want to just kind of move on. But she's run a very successful little business.
All right, we got opportunities. That's it. We're welcome to hang out and chat. whatever, but I think that's all we have to bring. I'm happy to answer questions for a second. You guys have heard a lot. What questions, concerns do you have? Go.
How are you sourcing?
Yes.
Where are you finding these?
Yes. We are digging any and everywhere we can. We talk to brokers throughout the country, small business brokers. We check all listings for businesses to sell on every imaginable site. Biz, buy, sell, acquire, everything. And there's no rock. If we can figure out another rock to turn over, we'll turn it over. But we just have a team going out all day, every day, seeking opportunities.
I'm full-time searching right now.
Yeah.
So I have a list of companies that haven't been a fit for me, but I've loved up to like pass along to the BYU community. So
Will you come meet with E?
we can see that.
Yeah. And why do you do that? Why are you searching for opportunities? For yourself?
Yeah.
And then you just have a bunch that you didn't appeal to you for
Not in my buy box.
not in your buy box. Please. That'd be great. We'd love that. Okay? Yeah.
What I'm gathering, iHub is awesome at like providing mentorship and coaching and kind of helping. Obviously, you got to do all.
Let's just stop it. From what you've seen, iHub is awesome. I agree. Good comment. Anything else?
And then in situations where funding, I guess, does iHub always want to take a portion and put money down, or do they? Will, if you have the funding, will they like walk you through kind of what you should look at? You look at it, and then hands up. What is? I guess how does that?
We are happy to have you provide all the funding and we don't have to participate. We are going to keep 10% of every deal because we found it and we brought it to you. And so iHub, the nonprofit organization, is going to keep 10% of every deal we find and bring to you no matter what, because that's what's going to fund iHub in perpetuity. This is $1.5 million a year to fund, and we can keep doing that for a minute, but maybe not an hour. We're going to be buried someday, and something needs to keep this going so that it keeps building our community. I need all of you to be back here in 20 years to take this over, because Spencer's old and I'm getting older. Somebody's got to run this. Somebody's got to keep building our community, and that's why we're here, and that's what we've done. And we shamelessly share that. We're keeping 10% so that your kids can come to iHub, all right? But the deal can be all yours. If the fund participates, then it would be the 85% that I mentioned, because we're going to put up a percentage at market and invest the money for your down payment. And then that would be a little bit more dilution. But yeah, we're talking about 85% for you. But we'll put up the money. We want you to have some skin in the game. Tell me what your finances are. I need this to hurt you. I need you to have some commitment here. That's all. Yeah.
What type of work and help are you looking for in ETA and setting up businesses?
Eth, come on up here. What kind of help are you looking for? If somebody has some time, what did I say something I shouldn't have said?
Well, one thing I would add is we are getting so many, but Chade and Jackson over here and Tyler, like they've been helping sort through things. But what we found, and actually a huge hiccup this month, why things were a little slower, like genuinely everything you saw, that was probably 2 weeks of, probably less, like a week or two of genuine like full concentration. And part of that is because when there's too many people looking at, like, we're like, wait, like what's just trying to navigate all the ones that we're going through. So we definitely could use the help, but we're still trying to figure out exactly how to organize the team we currently have, because it's been complicated. There is help needed, but just reach out and I'll figure it out.
We're
but
a startup. Let me just put it that way. We're also a startup. We're figuring a lot out right now. This is moving fast. Yeah. If you were to see the spreadsheet, it's amazing how many deals are on that spreadsheet, and over half of them died because they wouldn't sell our finance. Our best deals aren't, and that's not fair. Many of the deals aren't even being shown to you because they won't sell our finance. That's not our program. We're looking for seller finance, and we have too many deals to have to worry about that. Questions? All right, lots to do. You guys are welcome to take some time with Heath and his team, Tyler. They'll answer questions. They'll help out. Nice job. Thanks for being here. Like, this is a great path forward. Well done. Tyler, nicely done. All right, leave it to you.
Yep. Bye. How do I stop this? Oh, someone asked a question. Yeah, dude. Yeah, good to see you guys.
If you guys do ever need help fitting, is your phone working? It's working. Yes. Did you get a new phone?
Like, he has to delete stuff.
You know, they sell those. You could get a new one. That's true. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'll let you know. What's your guys like? How's the bike thing going? Thanks. This past couple of weeks,
My cousin actually got married, and her his wife, my sister, and the husband did I guess
you've been in railway. Yeah, they did. They're on the capstone.
Yeah.
How'd you make that connection?
I was just talking about my program. I was ranting about this guy named Benedict. I'm like, no, it's not.
Oh,
he's
it's
like a
city.
city.
That's like the only.
I know, I'm like, there's more.
Like, what do you just said? I'm like Stephanie. That's our city guy who we are. Well,
This is kind of
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's super cool. They're awesome. We're still after they I was terrified that we found what are they doing now? They graduated, right?
Yeah, well, I can't even remember. I think they're working on coding stuff. They went to